Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Tuesday, and all of our guests today, including Craig Button, standing by. Brought to you by Passant Motors. You're invited to the biggest sale of the year, the Passant Motors Anniversary Sale. It's back. Check it out at Passant Motors, BASANTmotors.com. As we bring in TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am good. Hope your holiday Monday was a good one, or if you celebrated it on Sunday, hope it was all good for everybody.
All good. Right back at you, Craig. A belated happy Thanksgiving. Hey, which 0-3 team is in more trouble? Or rather, which 0-3 team is that more realistic for? Colorado or Edmonton?
Yeah, I love the way you framed that question. I think that Colorado is the one that would probably be more realistic. And when the goaltending has been so bad, and then you combine it with a real shortage of players. I mean, they have so many. I mean, Nichushkin is going to be out until December at some point. We don't know about Landeskog. Lekkonen is out. So you're missing some real key players, and your goaltender has been porous. And you combine that, you don't have as much room for margin when you're missing good players. And the goaltender has been awful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's been awful. The Edmonton Oilers, on the other hand, just to be real quick on it, is I mean, we know they've only scored 3 goals. And Rick Tocchet's talked a little bit about this in Vancouver as well. If you think it's easy, you're in for a rude awakening. And the Edmonton Oilers right now have had a rude awakening trying to play real easy.
Hey, Craig, where you live, the Calgary Flames, 3-0. Any chance there for a real, including a win against the Canucks?
Well, here's what's real, and I felt like this all the way through. They have some really good players. I mean, let's not forget that they have some really good players. They have inexperience in the net. So those two, Dan Vladar and Dustin Wolf, are going to have to be steady. I mean, nobody's going to ask them to stand on their head and be Thatcher Demko-like, but they're going to have to be steady. But Rasmus Anderson, Mackenzie Weegar, Kevin Ball, those are good players. So they're really good the defensemen. Then you look up front, you still have Coleman, you have Kadri, you have Michael Backlund. Jonathan Huberdeau has been terrific and playing really, really well. Yeah, and they've incorporated some younger players into that group, but younger players that are ready, not just young players for the sake of putting young players. And here's the finishing touch on it. They are edgy. They play hard, they compete, and they make life uncomfortable for opponents. You saw it in Game 1 versus Vancouver. Vancouver eased up. Calgary didn't. And Calgary got the deserved win. Sunday versus the Edmonton Oilers, and Edmonton didn't even come out and forget about easy now. All they did was play easy. And the Calgary Flames just took it right to them. And you look at that type of competitive spirit and that type of competitive environment, I think they're going to be competitive. Do I think they're a playoff team? No, I don't. I think that they just don't have quite enough. But if everything goes right, then perhaps they can challenge for a spot. But they're going to be hard out. And they're going to – I said this a while back. They're not going to be San Jose Sharks 20 wins where they're at. They're going to be an 80, 85-point team, somewhere in that range. Maybe it's 78 to 85. And that's where I see them. But they're going to be tough and no fun to play against.
Craig, our poll question, will Pettersson live up to his big new contract? It's Vancouver, and you know that, Craig. Yeah, but what have you seen? What have you seen from Pettersson?
Well, what I've seen right now, I've seen a 50-game sample, Rick. Like, the 46 games of last season, which included the playoffs, where he scored 8 goals. And now you've watched the beginning of this year. So it's a 50-game sample. And it's really interesting that you go through 50 games like that. And I think he's been – we know how talented Elias is, and we know that he can really be a massive difference maker in the game. I'm going to use this word. He's been really meager. He was like that down the stretch last year into the playoffs. He's been like that through the first part of this season. I'm not prepared to say that that's what we're going to get. But when they start piling up and you get to 50 games, and if you get to 60 games, you get to 70 games, well, now there's every reason for concern. I think I don't know if simple is the right word I would use. But Elias Pettersson, like he doesn't seem to be able to create space for himself. And I think a big part of it is he's playing the game more on his back foot than on his front foot. And he's got to initiate and push and try to, because he's got the ability to break down opponents and create space for himself. I don't see the initiative from Elias Pettersson. I see somebody that's really tentative, much like Jonathan Huberdeau has been for the previous 2 seasons here in Calgary.
Yeah. Craig, the other question is, we're Game 3 for the Canucks tonight. Tonight, Sprong is a healthy scratch. Desharnais was a healthy scratch after Game 1. Is it just 2 new guys signed in the summer, taking time? Or like a lot of people are surprised. Like I don't think anybody saw these guys getting healthy scratch this early into the season, Craig.
Yeah, no, and I think that the coaching staff has concerns of their own. Let me just go to Daniel Sprong real quick. Like Daniel Sprong has been consistently inconsistent in his career. He has ability, he has skill, and that's been evident. But he's not able to hold that level of play consistently. And I think that finds and then he finds his way out of the game, out of the lineup. Desharnais. Probably it's a little bit of adapting and coaches adapting to him and he adapting to how they want to play. I think Vincent will come around. I think Adam Foote is terrific. I'll share a quick story with you about Nikita Zadorov. He came to the Calgary Flames a few years ago. I think he played the first 2 or maybe 3 games. He was like a healthy scratch for like 9-10 games. And Daryl Sutter was the coach. And then he got back in the lineup, and Nikita never came out again. And Nikita talks about when he wasn't playing, how much Daryl and the coaching staff worked with him and really helped him understand, here's what we need, here's how you can play, here's how you can be the most effective player. And then Nikita got in there, and he's that player. And I think there's a similar process going on with Vincent Desharnais with the Vancouver Canucks. I think Daniel Sprong is what he is. You get excited by the skill and these flashes, but Glenn Sonmore, the late Glenn Sonmore, he used to call these players cymbal players, like in the orchestra. The cymbal player, you hear this big flash and bang, but you only hear it every once in a while. I think Daniel Sprong's a cymbal player.
Well, you know who's an exciting player, Craig? Is a kid named Cameron Schmidt. With the Vancouver. I knew I'd get you going. Brian, play the goal. Look at this. Cameron Schmidt. Watch this. Watch this, Craig. Watch this.
Can Craig see it?
Okay, Craig, can you see it?
Oh, I see it. Oh,
yeah,
I see it.
Yeah.
And even if I didn't see it, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 11 goals in the early part of the season. 11 goals. He leads the Western Hockey League in goals. He got 3 game-winning goals. You know what I think of him? I mean, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, Is he going to get the Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson treatment, where everybody's going to be talking about his size instead of his immense abilities?
Yeah,
I said, yeah, probably. Most likely he will. But I'll ask you guys this. I'll ask Donnie and Ricky this, okay? And we're going to go to a game, but I'm out in Vancouver. We're going to find a way to go to a game and watch Cameron.
Done.
Like, how many players do you feel have as much skill as that guy?
Yeah. Not many.
Well, he leads the WHL in scoring, so there's not many. No.
There isn't many.
No. Craig, I got to tell you something, though. I sit in the cheap seats at Giants game. If you're going to go to a Giants game with Rick, you're going to have to buck up and go into the luxury boxes with
I don't listen to him.
Toigo,
Craig,
so just so you know.
Don't listen to him. I sit with the good people in the stands, and I love Junior A. I love Junior B. I go to Junior B games all the time, Craig. And I'm telling you, this guy sits with the owner, Toigo. I sit down in the stands, Craig.
Other way around.
No.
Well, I know where Ron sits and everything. It's a really nice spot to watch a game, right? But don't you want to be amongst the people, the
Yes,
fans that are
always.
cheering on their hometown team? That's
Always.
where I want to be, and maybe have a beer if we're not working.
Yes, yes. What a great idea, Craig.
Well, we'll take you up on that. That'd be outstanding, Craig. One other quick one. Dylan Guenther, 5 goals so far. Just your thoughts on the way he's playing down there in Utah, because there's a Canuck connection there.
Yeah, because of the trade when they traded that
yeah.
pick and they used that pick to draft Dylan Guenther. Dylan to me is that player that they've allowed to mature. They've allowed him to physically mature, and then with it, like everything, the understanding, the emotional, the mental part of it. He like went back to junior. He started a little bit in the NHL. Back to junior, was part of the World Junior team, scored the golden goal. Then you have him going down to the minors last year and really trying to find his way. He's ready now, but we shouldn't be surprised that he's ready because he's older and they put him in a position to succeed. They didn't rush him and Arizona, not now Utah, could have done that. They could have just said, "Oh, we're young, we're just going to throw you in there." I think that Dylan really was able to take those experiences and learn from them, grow from them. And what you're seeing is real. Dylan's a very good player.
Look forward to that game that we're going to see together with you, Rick, and I out in Langley, Craig.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for doing this, sir. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. Happy Tuesday.